Hey,
Oh
my friends, thanks
Lord,
for
now it's
joining
fun.
me. Andrew Axum with Axum Outdoor Adventures, and we have a roundtable full of ladies tonight. I'm going to have them go around and introduce themselves because I haven't met a lot of them. Laura, let's start with you. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay. Well, for starters, we have called ourselves the Women of Steel, just as a funky thing. But we're really excited to be here. And I'm Lori QB. As many of you know, I've been shooting slingshots for, I guess, 3 years now. This summer, shot some when I was a kid, of course. But meeting Moan Waller, was seeing his art, thinking about buying one for my children. Since we're, in the same community, I met him first and foremost as an artist, and then started shooting. And just have a couple different professions and children, so I'm very busy. And so this idea of stress, how to give your brain a break and restore it to a non-stressful state. Going in the backyard and shooting was really, that's what really grabbed me, as far as shooting. And then Becky, it's all Becky's fault that I competed. I'd like been shooting for what, like 3 months, and Becky's like, you got to do it with me. So then got the tournament bug and just love all the people in the community. So we can't help but try to make every single one of them. I was going to try and find. Oh well, I'll find my slingshot and show it later since I took it somewhere.
All right. Well, so you brought up Becky, and let's go ahead and introduce her next because Becky Straw, I know that name. And Becky, have we met in person? I feel like maybe we have at
We
Hocking.
have we at Hocking Hills.
Okay.
And I think we shot a little bit on the range, and then we just hung out a little bit here and there. But we were both busy. But yeah, we've met.
Okay. I thought so. You looked familiar, and I knew the name Becky Straw was familiar, but
Yep.
in this community, it's sometimes I don't, until I talk to someone one
I
on
know.
one, necessarily match the name up with the face. So glad you're here. Where are you from?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
You're in Richmond with Lori.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
that was kind of a question I had, and I'm not going to interrupt the introductions too long, but geographically, you guys are kind of spread out, aren't you? The group?
Our group,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's something I was curious about. So Becky's there in Virginia with you. Let's go ahead to Becky. Before I move on, did you have any social media or anything you wanted to plug?
I don't. I'm a dinosaur. I don't do Facebook or anything like that. So
Okay. Well, wanted to give you the opportunity. So I'll let you pick who to go next because I don't know everybody here. And
okay. How about Dana? You're up.
That's me. I'm Dana, Austin, Texas, for the win. I guess I have been shooting whatever Lori said, like subtract maybe 3 months from that. I think I'm about 3 months behind Lori. And my first tournament is when I met Lori and Moan and a whole handful of other people. I was really nervous when we were going. I hadn't been shooting for very long at all. And I also was like, you learn about slingshots in sort of a like the media or whatever. And so I was like, oh, it's going to be a bunch of grizzly guys wearing camo and me. And I was really anxious about that. But we got there and it was just it was a pretty small group at this tournament. And it was just such a diverse group. And I immediately felt welcome. And I feel like I was really glad that that was my first tournament because it was an opportunity to be able to talk to people in a way that I probably wouldn't have if it had been one of the bigger ones like ECST. I feel like I made some really good friends there and yay community.
excellent. Yeah. And I knew you were in Texas. That's actually what kind of tipped me off that this was a maybe, a bigger thing than just what's going on in the RVA area there. So excellent. Well,
Oh yeah, we span multiple time zones.
okay, cool. Well, I'm interested to meet everybody, and I'll let you go ahead and pick who to introduce themselves next.
Well, Becky her box is like to the other side of me. You're on one side, Becky's on one side, so I'm
Oh,
going
no.
with who's below me, which is Nikki.
Okay.
Hi, how is everybody?
Hi, Nikki. Nice to meet you. Now, I don't think we've met, but I have seen all of you on social media except Becky because she doesn't have it. But
Because I'm a dinosaur, yeah.
I'm definitely a loudmouth. There's no doubt about that. I like to talk, so
you're a relatively new shooter, I think, aren't you?
I am. I started in March actually, so
Okay.
I have
Yeah.
I have a really weird story when it comes to like why I started shooting Slingshot. I've always had like a shooting background, um, and like rifle bench rest, and like I tried archery, but I was terrible at it. But like I'm a Legend of Zelda super fan. And so in one of the episodes, or in one of the games, it's Ocarina of Time, there's a slingshot. And I got this little bag, and I don't have it with me right now, but it has like these three little heart containers, and then inside that bag, I carry my slingshot, all my ammo. I have this little switchblade or whatever that I've taken pictures of before, but like it's like this whole little adventure kit. And so I did all of this for that, but then I realized like I hadn't shot anything really in years. And I realized how fun it was and how like archery adjacent it was. And so I got on Simple Shot, and I kind of like was going along with my progress. And Lori reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should come to ECST." And um, I'm in Struthers, Ohio, so which is a suburb of Youngstown. So Youngstown's on the border of Pennsylvania, and I was only an hour and a half from ECST, so it was a no-brainer. I
Okay.
went and I loved it.
You and Lori, did you guys meet through social media through Slingshots? Or did you?
Simple chat,
Yes,
the simple chat page.
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if maybe you guys knew each other before
Mm-mm.
Slingshots because, yeah, something you said made me question whether it was. So it was Slingshots though that brought you guys together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Do you have any?
And that, yes, because there wasn't a lot, there people had questions about, when do we start shooting and, what the prices were. And so I think Nikki, you had said you had posted a question about ECST or a question about the tournament. And so I was like, yeah, look, here's the information. Here's the link. Come join us. And, you know, um,
Yeah. And it
I
was
think,
really important for me to have that welcome crew because I don't think that I would have lasted without knowing one person there. And it was amazing that Lori reached out to me. And,
well, and then
I,
Moan was like, yes, come. And he
Yeah,
just big bear hug.
it is great the way it brings people together, and it is. I found the same thing. My first tournament was at Hawking Hills, 22, 23, I can't remember, but yeah, Dana's got the shirt on. But I didn't really know anybody, and fortunately, it kind of helped a little bit because a few people had seen a few videos and came up and introduced themselves, and that kind of broke the ice for me. But it is kind of intimidating for anybody to walk up to a strange group, and especially in a new community where you don't know anything.
Yeah.
It's intimidating. But this is one of the most welcoming groups I think I've ever been a part of, which is why I'm so passionate about sharing it. So thank you,
absolutely.
Nikki, for being here, and I'll let you go ahead and pick who to come on next and introduce themselves.
I should clarify something real quick because I said I was worried it was going to be a bunch of big bearded guys in camo, and there is nothing wrong with big bearded guys in camo. I just was worried it would be exclusively that. So,
I understand.
clear the record.
I don't have any camo.
Anyway, sorry, Nikki. Go ahead.
It's okay. I'm going to pick Samantha.
Excellent. Samantha,
Hello.
introduce yourself.
Hey, Sam.
Hi. I'm Sam, Samurai. I've only been shooting for a few years now, and my husband and I were actually out camping, and it was pouring down rain, and he had a rest rocket, and I wasn't strong enough to pull it back, but I was having fun trying, and so he started to look up different new ways to shoot, and we ran into Simple Shot, and then it kind of just steamrolled from there. And we actually found out about the tournaments from you, Axum.
Oh, that's
And that was the first that we, and my first tournament was Hockin Hills, and it was awesome. And I agree with everybody. I think the community's really welcoming, and as a nervous person as I am, just going into it, it was just everybody's just so great.
yeah.
It's very addicting, and the more I do it, the more I want to, and the more I go to tournaments, the more I want to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I remember you and your husband came up and introduced yourselves to me, and I wasn't exactly sure when we walked away because I'm bad with names. I couldn't remember exactly what your name was, but then we became friends on Facebook, I think, all of us. And yeah, it was neat it is neat to connect for me too, like that, to go to places and hear somebody say they heard about a tournament for me, because you don't always hear feedback on this end of YouTube, and when you do, it's not always great. So it was really nice to have somebody come up and say, that they'd heard about something like that from me. So thank you, and I'm glad you guys are in the community. Do you have any other social media besides? I know you have Facebook, but do you have any other you want to plug?
I don't have any social media I want to plug, but later on we're all going to talk about what slingshots we like, right?
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
all right. Excellent. So I started to call you Sammy. My one of my daughters is named Sam, and we call her Sammy.
Oh.
But Sam, go ahead and bring on the next person.
I actually I'm not sure
Okay.
because of my view.
Okay.
Sorry.
Lisa.
I don't think Lisa. Yeah, Lisa.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm from Arizona,
Wow.
native Phoenician, living in Gilbert. I got into slingshots, I think, kind of during COVID, around that time, and it was mostly to scare pigeons away. I was getting tired of the pigeons in my pool. And, I had my dad's wrist rocket, and I went to go, like, the tubes were dry and cracked. So I went to go find that, and that's when I went down the rabbit hole of seeing the flat bands and the different things, and started going on YouTube, watching a few videos, and then I ordered my own, and then took off from there, and then went on Facebook, found a group, the USA, what is it, Slingshotters, is that?
Yeah, USA
Yeah.
Slingshot.
And so got accepted in there, and then found with James Gonzalez, who was also Arizona.
Yeah.
So started a tournament. So I got the courage and drove myself down there, told my neighbors, like, hey, I'm going to this place. Looks like it's out in the middle of the desert. If I don't come back. And it was very welcoming and very fun. And it's so much fun to shoot slingshots with people who like to shoot slingshots, because my husband doesn't. My kids do a little. So anytime people come over, I'm like, hey, you want to see my targets? You want to, like, have you seen?
That is excellent. I love that story, because it seems like a lot of the time it's the other way around. It's the husband likes to shoot and the wife's not necessarily interested in it. And I think it's great that you guys have this group just to encourage women. I'm really happy about that. But your story in particular is cool, because you're kind of spearheading it for your family instead of it being, a male that's doing it. So I think that's pretty neat.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Thanks.
Well, I've seen Lisa. Lisa, you've been on there, I think, since I joined. Because I feel like, I was like, there's very few women around here, so I was noticing the people that would like or comment on things, right? So I think you said 2020.
I had Facebook group for a while. Like I said, I think it was around COVID when I joined, around in there. But
that's when I started COVID also. It wasn't anything to do, and it just started plinking in the backyard, and down the rabbit hole you go.
That's really neat.
We just joined. Lisa just joined our group because, Lisa, I think you commented on something. I was like, oh my gosh, it's just a matter of, like, still bringing everybody. But anyway, I know. Well, moving on to Crystal. Sorry.
Okay, I was going to say, I think there's one more person. Is there one more or more than that?
too.
Yeah.
I
I
think
haven't heard
Bridget
from
still
Liz.
Bridget. Okay.
or
Yeah.
Liz.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. There's
Okay, we'll talk about it.
okay. Crystal, go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
I'm Crystal. I'm from Columbus, Mississippi. I've been doing this. I've been shooting for about a year and a half. I kind of got started because my better half started. His grandfather did it growing up, so he kind of was always shot on and off throughout his life, and then he saw there was a tournament close in Alabama, so he went about 2.5 years ago now, and then I got to go to my first one last year, this year in April.
Was
So.
that? Oh, in April. Where was
ACC.
ACC? Okay, yeah. Yeah, I was wanting to make it down there this year, but I was right in the middle of a shift change at work and it didn't work out. But well, excellent. I'm glad you were here and part of the community. Do you have any social media you want to share?
No, not really. I'm very I have them, but I don't really do much on them.
Sure. Okay. All right. So next on my screen, I see Bridget.
Hello. I'm here in Richmond, Virginia, and Lori and Becky are two of my ride and dies. We see each other a lot. They're my girls. I love them so much. Love you guys. And Becky and I actually live a couple minutes from each other, but we see each other out at Moans.
Yeah.
Okay.
35 minutes, 40 minutes away or whatever every couple weeks. But I'm a teacher, and I had a student who had some pieces that Moan had made and posted them, and I was like, damn, those are some beautiful things. I need to check them out. And then looked at all his stuff on Facebook and was just like, I need to be doing this. And then I realized he lived over by me. Went over there and toured the studio and brought my son with me. My son got really excited, and he started out with a Scout, and I had bought something from Moan, and we started in the backyard, and then we started making our way out to the shoot nannies. So this is the second sport I've started with my son. The first one was Pokemon Go, which he will not participate in. I'm addicted, and he comes out with us, and he's part of our team, and it's been real awesome.
That is,
real
that is
awesome.
neat. Yeah, so you and I are not Facebook friends, I don't think, but I have seen pictures of you and your son at, I've seen you and your son in the Shoot Nanny pictures,
Right on.
videos and stuff. So yeah, that's neat. I'm glad you guys are part of the community.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great for both of us.
It is really neat. You mentioned Pokemon Go. I've never played it, but there was a cemetery here nearby that I guess had some of that stuff in it, and people were constantly going up to that cemetery at 4:00 in the morning, just walking around trying to catch Pokemons.
Yeah, you got to get your Pokeballs at the cemetery. Lori will call me and she's like, "Where are you?" I'm like, "I'm in the cemetery playing." I know. It has to do with how the map overlays and points of reference on a map. So digress.
For the super nerdy who might be watching this or participating, there was a tester game that came out before Pokemon Go called Ingress.
Yeah.
I never played Pokemon Go, but I got pretty deep into Ingress for a while.
Oh yeah.
Then it got really toxic and I quit, but
Oh yeah.
but it was fun for quite a while.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about when I talk about all the map points.
Yep. Sure do.
See,
wow, that's awesome.
I'm a big map nerd and geography nerd. Excuse me. So that aspect of it interests me, but I don't know one Pokemon character from the other. So
yeah, well, I didn't either.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad you're here and glad you're part of the community. And
thank you.
Liz Firefly. We have met a few times, I think. Yep.
I am also probably better as far as relating me to the Slingshot world. I'm Mrs. Trapper D's.
Yes.
So, or Trapper DES as he originally called it, but who was it? Oh, I can't remember. I know it's Todd Brabson, but he saw his name and called him Trapper D's, and then that's how my husband has been known in the Slingshot world as Trapper D's. But Danny introduced me into Slingshots when we were dating back in 2008, 8. And so he took me to Walmart and we got a wrist rocket for me because that's what he had. And so oh no, we weren't even dating. We were just friends. And so he's like, well, let's get you a slingshot. And so I was like, okay, and there's $7 at Walmart, the Marksman. And so we went back to my house and we were shooting driveway rocks out through our wrist rockets and with the super heavy bands, but the wrist rocket bands weren't as bad then. They were actually decent then. Like, I mean, for what they were. They shot driveway walks really well. And then in 2014 or 15, Danny found Jorg Sprav on YouTube. And he's just like, you have to see this guy. He's this German guy who has the best laugh and he shoots slingshots and it's awesome. He's like, let me show you its features. And it was so great. And so we got to watching Jorg Sprav. And then from Jorg, he did an interview with Nathan. And so then we found Nathan with Simple Shot. And then through that, the forums. And so we were on the forums. Danny's still active on the forums. I have an account. And then we were with the transition part where we got onto Facebook, runs around in camo pants at the Slingshot events. Like my first ECST, Danny likes to go to bed early and I like to stay up late. And so I was up till like 3 a.m. shooting with like 6 other guys. We shot so much that weekend. And then like one of the guys, MJ, looked at me and he's like, Liz, who did you come with? And I was like, the guy that runs around in camo pants, that's my husband. He's like, oh, okay. I was like, yeah, he goes to bed at 10 o'clock.
That's funny.
Linder is not a big guy. But he does wear like a camo hat that has a Texas Longhorn on it, and is bearded. So he like checks 2 of those 3 boxes.
Well, I learned that if we ever have T-shirts, we just need to make sure we have the 3XL. So they don't need to be camo, but we do need the 3XL size, which will be in soon.
So I think that was everybody. I think everybody's introduced themselves. And Lori, I know you guys had some things you wanted to, some topics you wanted to cover that I think are important to you as a group. I did have some questions off of YouTube, though, that viewers had asked. If you want to hear a few of them real quick. So the first one from Psalm Shottam. How did you find yourself in the slingshot sport? I think you guys have all kind of already answered that. How would you go about introducing more women to the sport?
Isn't that just the $1 million question?
It really is. Because most people look at you, particularly if you're a woman, like you're crazy. You know, when you tell them you shoot a slingshot, they just think, oh my goodness. But just invite them and just tell them, you know, how wonderful the people are. And that's what I love the most is just the community. And like you said, people you wouldn't have ever met, you do now and just love them. And they're just, you know, you feel like they're just your good friends. So
I find too when I post, I get a lot of people reaching back to me, asking me what I'm up to, how'd I get into it, how do they get into it, you know, just random. It's pretty random, but people are definitely interested. So part of it's just simply just exposure. It's not necessarily you know, whether it's for one group or another, it's just a lack of exposure.
Right. I didn't know it existed until a guy at work told me he had to hurry home because his mud balls were coming in the mail from Amazon that day.
We need our mud balls.
I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
At least once at least once every tournament, except the first one I went to, some guy has come up to me and said that a woman or a younger woman, like a minor, decided they were going to try shooting at that tournament because they watched me.
Cool.
And so when that happens, like that, I mean, obviously like that, you know, is amazing. But when that happens, I'm like, so are they going to compete? And they don't. And that's like, for me, one of the stumbling blocks is there are so many women that get excited when they watch us. And so they try it a couple of times, but then they get self-conscious or worried about it or whatever. And
they hit their
and then they don't end up and then they don't end up competing. And so that's sort of the roadblock that I want to try and get people over.
Well, I think also, another thing, childcare. A lot of women will be watching the kids, taking care of the kids, especially if it's like
Yeah.
your guy's hobby. I have other things, whatever. So, I think, definitely the more that it's, we shoot, we all share that workload of caring for them. And then, changing that perspective that it's not just like, it's not just fun for the guys. Actually, if I mean, me being there, being like, I'm going to be shooting the whole time and having fun. So come shoot and have fun with us. And so a couple of times, women that weren't going to go along will end up going along, and they're shooting just as good as everybody else. So, the more that they see us shooting, exactly, I need to share more videos. But the more that there's, I always say this: if you see yourself in a space, if you see someone like you in a space, you feel like there's space for you there. So the more that
Yeah.
we have that, but the other point is that this sport is really growing. Since I've come in, I've seen so many newer people like Andrew. I think you came in probably close around the same time. There has been sort of, it
Yeah.
seems like this great growth, and artists, people of all different backgrounds, that are um, interested and that are also, expanding what that representation is.
Right.
So it
Expanding the
changes
demographic.
what,
Sort of.
huh?
I said they're expanding the demographic, sort of.
Yeah.
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 I've been in like business sales for a lot of my career, and like just seeing the interface that Simple Shot has up, I think that's the game changer. I think the fact that they go through and have such a professional website, and they go through the paces of, all the social media advertising and going at it in such a professional way, that's the way you reach new people. And I think with Slingshots, it's always these small builders who make amazing things, but they don't necessarily, bring the kind of traffic to their website like a big company can. And I think that, Simple Shot has a good formula. And I think if other manufacturers did the same, it would be a much bigger deal.
But yeah, the only problem with that, in defense of some of the smaller builders, is that I think with the materials, Simple Shot makes the plastic frames, and so they're easier to mass produce. Some of the smaller builders are doing the custom stuff, and I mean, if you're talking about the websites,
Yeah, I'm talking about website interfaces, not their ability to put out
yeah,
at all.
yeah. Well, and I think that kind of goes along with it, though. The Simple Shot sells.
But you have to have the budget too. You have to have the
Yeah, they
budget.
have the budget because they're mass producing and
Right.
and so. But no,
Well, a lot of our tournaments are really small too. They're families that have welcoming people to their, farms or
right,
properties. So I think it is really one of those. That's something that's really beautiful about it. That it's, the smaller tournaments. I feel like I'm, Dana and Linda, Robert Persley, Mona, the experience that we had at that real small tournament was just, we bonded. We became like best friends, right, in a really special way. So it is really unique and special to have the small aspects of it, but also speaks to how much we're growing as as we continue.
yeah,
Well, and
And then,
like there's so much, so a lot of this, like Simple Shot I think is amazing because they also like sponsor tournaments. At least one representative from Simple Shot is that I think that their goal is to have somebody at every single tournament all the time. They want representation, and I think they do a really good job, and they talk to you, and it's not just like, oh wow, you're a giant manufacturer of slingshots and
right.
you're over there in your camp or whatever. But like all of the smaller makers, like RVA crew, like they're out there, they're donating things, sponsoring stuff, like, and that's the thing, is like everybody in the community puts in the work and pays into the goodwill.
yeah.
Um, you go ahead, Lori. You have something you want to say?
Oh no, not really.
Okay.
We can move on.
Well, Dana mentioned you guys going out and sponsoring things and stuff, and I think that's a huge way. I think what you guys have done in RVA is amazing, and I'd love to see more of that across the country. These like regional groups starting up, because I think that's a way to get awareness out there. Sponsoring events,
Hosting events, because that community brings people.
right. And like I know here in my local community, and this is just off the top of my head, but I know like you could put entries for your local groups in the 4th of July parade. And with something like that, you could march in the parade, and most people have never heard of what we do. And so I think the key is exposure, because it doesn't take much to get hooked on slingshots once you get exposed to it.
No.
It's getting exposed to it that I think is the key. So I think regional groups like that are great, and I think it's great that there's a group of ladies that are focusing on that part of the demographic as well, because that helps the whole community grow.
Well, Dana and I joked about, or have talked about, like actually bringing all of us together, and having this group. I think it's just as our friendships have grown, as we go to different tournaments, and as we, are as a team, then it's the same. Well, I think I mentioned as like a Facebook chat about what the Slingshot tournament coming up or something, where everyone's sharing. We have our little challenges, those kinds of things. And that's awesome that, as our friendships have grown, that we're actually, getting that connected. I would say that, when I first joined, I grew up riding horses competitively, was always very active, did some shooting, did some archery, but when I started, it was like, I will never forget someone saying, "You cut your own bands? You band your own slingshot yourself, and you cut your own bands? He doesn't do it for you?" Like, this guy was just shocked. So I always say, just be cool. You see a bunch of us shooting, just come over and hang out like we're people. Don't make a big deal out of it. Don't. Because I was like, what's wrong with that? I'm just a human being, banding up my slingshot, man. What's going on? So, I think it's great. It's great to have this group, and it's great to be, have that representation out in the community. So it's just normal that there's, old, young, all different colors, all different,
But
So,
the beautiful part about that is because our community is such a melting pot, you get people from so many different mindsets and stuff. And so, maybe that will become normal for that person at some point, because they're part of this community. So
right. Because then they're like, oh, well, it's just normal.
Lori, if I can add to the part about the bands, I had a huge, fear of not understanding the bands. And this is before I started, shooting with a group. But what do I buy? What size? What thickness? It's just chaos out there when you first start looking. And what I really have come to love about, something that was actually something that I was dreading ended up becoming something that is absolutely my most favorite part of the sport almost, is how customizable, how niche you can get with your products, how customizable they are. The latex that I use in the winter is different than the latex I use in the summer. How many wraps I'm doing in between certain parts of the wrap technique, changes depending on the kind of latex I use, matching colors, matching and experimenting also with different techniques. And I absolutely love how customizable all of that is. I think there's very few sports, very few things you can do where you can customize it to that degree.
Absolutely.
It's exciting for me.
And you touched on techniques as well. That's something that I love about the sport. You never run out of new things to try, because there's always something you haven't done yet.
Like the speed or the DFS.
I love how nerdy people get about it too. Like, I think I just walked by somebody at, like, Linda was having a conversation with some people at ECST, and I walked by and I was like, nerds. They're going like deep diving into some nuance about slingshots.
The thing that cracks me up about slingshots too is, like, when people first hear about slingshots, they're like, "Oh, they're so simple." I was like, no. Don't get anybody started on the debate of wide frames forks versus narrow and which one's faster. Just don't go there. Don't go there. And then you'll end up in this lesson in physics and like how all of it ends. And it's fascinating. And you're like, well, there's way more math that goes into this than anybody realizes when they scratch the surface.
Oh yeah.
It's so it's
TTF and OTT.
You can geek out to the extreme.
Yeah, when I give a new person a slingshot, it is typically like an LT or you know, a scout.
That's what we get with the trainers.
Yeah. Yep. That's because they're just like they're uniform, they're great, easy to handle, ergonomically sound.
Sometimes Becky's killer with that
never
scout.
leave them. I'm a scout.
I mean,
till I die. Even though made me a custom scout. So
this is what I compete with too. Just the scout LT, the LT Pro.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know at some point, I think Nikki, I'm not sure. Somebody said we're going to get to show our slingshots, right? And so since Becky brought up her scouts, let's go ahead and you guys want to show off your frames that you have and with some of the questions. I haven't been asking all the questions I have on YouTube because you guys are already answering some of them in your discussion. But people want to know what models you prefer, clay, steel, diameter you like shooting. Do you hunt and clean your own game? OTT or TTF? So.
Do we need to like comment? Put in the comment bar? No, I'm kidding. TTF, OTT, tubes or flats?
Flats. Flats.
Yeah.
I think we're all unanimous here. Sorry, personally.
I'm gonna stand up for Trapper D's. He shoots tubes, and I want to like tubes because I like kind of being the black sheep. But at the same time, man, they give me hand slaps, so I shoot flats more.
I like tubes because it's one of those things that's still a challenge for me. So I enjoy going out and still, trying something new, but I don't like giving my preference. Yeah, flat bands.
I'm working on
1636. Oh, I'm sorry, Sam.
You're working on tubes, Sam?
I'm starting to work on tubes. I had I'm back and forth. I was reluctant. I think that sometimes in these ways, like these tournaments, also give different ideas to broadens like what you would consider like the speed shoot. I think it's I'm not sure. I'm just trying it, so I'm just now getting started. But I think the tournaments lend themselves well to like giving different ideas to open up what it can be. And so I'm trying all of these things. But I do like flat bands. But I'm just now starting to try to one hand load a little.
For
sure. Is it for speed? You're practicing on the speed.
I'm starting. You
see that? I'm just gonna play with this with the 1636.
I had the Nova.
It was so impressive.
Liberty Custom.
Personally,
hey,
I got a Liberty Custom.
Hold on. What'd you say, Becky?
I said it was just so impressive. Robert Pursley at the tournament shot everything with tubes, and so that makes me a little more intrigued to try it too.
The one thing I liked, there a lot of frames I look at that are beautiful were tube shooters, and I was like, well, I'm limiting myself on what I can own, so now I can buy twice as many.
I think Krista was saying something about her Liberty Custom.
Yeah, I got one off the trade table at ACC, so awesome. it's a tube frame. So I've been interested in trying to learn a little bit about that. My other half, he uses flats too, so it would be like a learning experience for both of us because neither one of us have ever shot with tubes. So learning how to tie those up and getting that started.
You should get real good behind his back, and then you can show him how to do it.
Oh, I'm already trying to beat his butt anyway. So
that's right.
She beat him in the ducks with the ducks.
Yep.
Awesome.
And shot his.
Those are you talking about Dana's ducks?
Well, she's the reason I got started with it.
Ducks.
I love ducks.
I don't have like an exclusive claim on ducks.
No, but no,
Although I did,
That's why I wanted to get started with them. I love shooting them. So
I
was
did
thinking
bring a
of-
little friend to the call, just and if I doubt Graydon watches this, but if Graydon does, this is his, and it will come back to him one way or another.
No, I was talking about your duck knockdowns. Weren't you responsible for those?
I didn't make those. Hippie did
Okay.
in my honor, and
Oh.
then people got mad at me because they were hard.
Well, no, I
They were
like them.
hard.
But
I
like
like them.
they were, but
People
that's
or coin.
But also, well, coin, yeah. But also, like, you have to know when you go to ECST that this is not a tournament that is like going to be strictly regulation. That's not what it's about. Like,
Right.
ECST is a lot more about marksmanship and silliness and fun. I just like it's coming up real soon. I guess soon-ish. Not
Hocking Hills.
Okay.
The Hocking Hills.
changed it.
Did I say ECST?
Yes,
I meant
was
Hocking
like,
Hills.
wait a minute, hold on a second.
Yeah,
I'm getting
sorry. I meant Hocking
Hocking
Hills. Yeah, Hocking Hills is yeah, it's not going to be like a regulation thing. It's, you know, they come up with fun stuff and they come up with new ideas every year. I doubt that Dana's Duckies will come back because they probably have some new interesting thing that they're going to do instead. And I am very excited to find out what it is.
Me too. I'm looking forward to Hocking Hills this year.
Me too.
I have one last question off of YouTube for you guys, and this one is one that I find particularly interesting. And then I'm going to let you guys just talk about whatever you want. But this one is, why are there no female Slingshot YouTube channels?
Well, that's not true because I have one.
Okay, you do have one, and I was just getting ready to say, Lori, I think you have one, but are you real active on it? You haven't been lately.
I just added it this spring and I need to put more on there. I was trying to add my old ones and keep going, but lately it's been, I need to do more of the videos when we're at our shoots. And we tried to do the card, but I bought these plastic cards. So, you know, between working a lot, I haven't, but it's QB Slings. If anybody wants to go over there and join,
I'll put the
follow, like, and follow.
channel in the description of this.
And maybe out of this more will.
Yeah, and so even if you guys aren't interested, or you guys, I should say, are not interested in doing a YouTube channel, I've found that recording yourself is a great way to get better, because you can watch yourself from the side and the rear and watch exactly what you're doing with your elbow and your wrist and your arm and stuff. So I'll just throw that out there. It's a great learning tool as well to watch yourself.
I would do that, but I don't think that's my good angle. I don't think I want to see myself. So I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna wing it.
The more we show, though, the more people get involved. It's true.
Well,
when I was like, I would share videos like crazy, right, Bridget? I mean,
Yeah.
Becky, I mean, for a while I was really doing good with it, and then life has just been slammed.
Well, I see a lot of your stuff, I feel like, on Facebook.
You're
Yeah,
active, Lori. Don't worry. You're
oh,
active.
yeah.
Yeah, you know, the sad thing is that for me, and I bet I am not unique, like I'm always like, I don't have anything to say, you know, like I don't have anything to teach people. Why would I make there's
But that's
a
why
reason anybody would want.
you were top 10 at AIM, and that's something that will always give.
Yeah.
Weren't you? I feel like you were.
No, I wasn't. I was top 10 at Hocking Hills last year, maybe.
Oh.
I think I tied Linder for 10th or something.
Yeah,
Like that. And then I came in second place in that head-to-head knockdowns at ECST on 2024.
Yeah,
That was
was
awesome.
And
That was awesome.
Yeah.
that got me a lot of attention. Like, more attention than I really. The only reason I did it, the only reason I stepped up to that line is because no other women had signed up, and I was like, well, you know, knockdowns are kind of like knockdowns. I know I'm good at them, but it's a tournament, so I'm probably just gonna absolutely flub this. That's what happens. But like, I also. apparently had a secret way of getting into people's heads that I'm not going to give away. So every time I stepped up to the line, I got into the person's head. So it just kept getting further and further. And then all of a sudden there were just two of us. But I didn't have any expectations. I just did it because I wanted people to get used to seeing a woman do things like that.
That's
and,
awesome.
And we'll continue to do that kind of stuff, even though I probably won't have a highlight like that in my career again.
Well, yeah, and she was very instrumental and involved in putting on ECST. So she was like, did not do pro, but it was a great thing. Becky will be shooting pro with me next year. I'm
Yes.
announcing to the world. Yes.
Yes.
It's intimidating when you go to a tournament, no matter how well you shoot. It's different when you're at a shooting nanny or if you're in your backyard and you're just having fun but when you go to a tournament, you get a little, even if you're, even the most secure person, you feel a little intimidated. And I think that it just, at least for me, I'm going to just step out of my dots and just do it, and I think the more you see women in particular going up there and doing that, the more some will follow, but I always just think that men and women can shoot the same. It's just whether you're old, whether you're young, it's marksmanship. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, if you're young, you're old, male, female, everybody can shoot the same. So
Well, and so Dana, you talked about not having anything to say, and everybody can shoot the same. And I think though all of you all as shooters, since you're not just spectators at the tournaments, I would assume when you go out to shoot, you sometimes have breakthroughs where you have something you figure out that works for you or something. That's the kind of thing you could put in a video, and I think it would do well because I think other women would watch it and they might not find it as intimidating, or they might just be more open to it because it's presented by a woman. But I think everybody has something they could show or teach.
I'm very interested in working on what I want to work on next is some instructional videos. So, the difference, when I first started, and it's always this I'll hear even makers say, great slingshot for a woman's hand. But the thing is, a 90 there's different elements. If you have a smaller fork width, right? Then where your aim point is different. So some of those things I think would be having some instructional videos would be an awesome thing, and I'm going to hopefully do that to be able to talk a little bit about those mechanics. So, it does help to be able to hear it. I think sometimes when we have shooters come to the shoot and they're couples, and the chicks are just learning, and I'll be like, come shoot with me, and get away from your guy, So it's sometimes, just like that, just having some of that representation.
I saw.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I saw one of your videos about you doing bands, and it helped. And I think that you have a good way to reach out and speak to people. I think that you're right. I think that with stuff like this, and then the way that you guys reach out in general. I wasn't even planning on shooting at Hawk and Hills. I was just going to walk with Hopper and go through. And I would shoot, but not just because it was just all new. But I spoke with you and I spoke with Becky, and you guys are just everybody's just so open and just and it doesn't matter the best of the best. They just want to. You can tell everybody loves it and they want to keep getting better and they want to help you keep getting better. I think that's too cool.
Yeah, and I want to speak to that too because it was amazing to just be able to talk to someone like Moan and walk up to him and he gives you a slingshot. This is my Spitfire, by the way. He just gave this to me. It's a little laminate one, but it fits my hand so nice. And you could just walk up to a grate and talk to them. That is crazy to me. I learned a lot of stuff from Simple Shot, Jordan Smothers, and to be able to shoot a tournament with those guys, it's fun. It's really a cool thing to be able to just be a nobody and then feel like somebody.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. And I think that's one of the things that I hear people marvel about over and over is the welcomeness I don't even know if that's a word, but the welcoming spirit that the community has. It's just, I felt it, even through videos and stuff and through social media. But when you go to a tournament, it's so much more.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how Lori and Moon did it. I mean, from setting up everything at ECST to literally welcoming every single person there. I mean, they're just so good at it. And hands down, I would have not gone if it wasn't for Lori and Moon. I would not. And they just absolutely made it. They made the experience. Dana too. I shot with Dana for hours and hours. She's probably the first person I met outside of Lori and Moon. So
yeah, it's
Well,
I think that's just what's so wonderful about this community is everybody cheers everybody on, and it's just you're friends from the start. The minute you start talking, and everybody's encouraging and kind, and it just you just don't find that anywhere really that I have found, and I just think it's wonderful.
It is rare.
And circling back to bringing more women or just a more diverse group of people in general, I think that's really the key, is just communicating to people that like you will find your people here. Like,
Right.
come join us, try it out.
It could be like all different levels. Like there's different things that you guys pass me up on, and then there's on down the road I eventually I catch up, and then there's other things that you don't have to be a particular level to have fun and have it's all in your own time, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
I'm gonna have to drop pretty soon, so
Okay.
if there's something that we need to talk about that requires my opinion, we should do it soon.
Well, that was all the questions I had on YouTube. So yeah, if we go much longer, I'll have to do this as 2 videos. I may do that anyway. But yeah, I will turn it over to you guys, just whatever you guys want to talk about. I felt like maybe there was some topics that were important to you as a group.
What's your shooting setup, Dana?
Like in my backyard?
No, like your bands. Your bands.
Oh, well, I use a Slingshot LT. Right now, I have it banded up with cyan because I switched bands. I like these little pouches, these little pit pouches. I decided I really like the purple ones for no particular reason.
I love purple.
And also I use the purple to color code the taper and length of the bands because I am fiddling around with things because you can be so super nerdy and fiddly with all of that stuff. And so I use a green one for a particular taper. And then this purple one I use 1912 cut at 170 and then trimmed typically to like 160.
Okay.
That's my setup. I also would like to plug these lovely things that Michael Linder, aka Linder Sucks, aka the guy I'm married to, makes. He is probably in the garage making some right now because he hopes to bring some to Hocking Hills. He's redesigned it slightly too, which I am very excited about because some of the things that are a little bit harder for me to use on this, he's addressed.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That may be my new setup. We'll see. Although, Slingshot has done me, solid for 3 years or however long it's been. And then I figured since I'm talking about slingshots, I will just show off. I don't even know if the video can capture this, but Moan made this. Beautiful. It was a custom. I gave him a picture of a bird called a grackle. If you don't know what a grackle is, they're amazing and loud and obnoxious, and I love them so much. And they have these like bright yellow eyes, and so Moan has managed to capture the like grackle eyes. They're also like iridescent and like purpley black and blue, and so he captured all of that in this slingshot. So these are the 3 I like to keep with me when I go places.
Do you shoot it? Do you shoot it a lot?
Moans?
Yeah.
I am afraid to shoot it too much because I don't want to hurt it.
Just don't tell him afterwards.
That was the
curse.
But I put it through its paces so that I'm not so afraid that I never use it. Yeah, we have like a little, I live in the city, so we don't have a big backyard. We have like this homemade catch box that involves a bunch of PVC, pool noodles to pad the PVC so that when we hit them, it bounces off the pool noodles instead of breaking the whole thing.
That's
And then
a
like
good
ballistic
idea.
nylon wrapping the whole thing. Like it's very thrown together, but very solidly efficient. But we have this tiny little space along the side of our house. We can get about 19 meters total between us and the catch box, and that's my shooting setup at home is these slingshots, and then just a catch box that has a bunch of different size targets hanging in it, and some can hangers. Sometimes we cut cans together. We're a can cutting family, you know.
Well, Bridget, were you going to show yours? Did you
Oh,
want to
this
show
is
your
this
slingshot?
is my own custom. This is my baby. This is pretty much. I've got
Oh, it keeps
these,
going on.
but this is my go-to. Whoops, it's all messed
It
up.
doesn't know how. Yeah, because your background.
There we go. Yeah, that's my baby, and I shoot with BSB, and I like those little purple ones too.
What point what BSB?
0.45.
0.45.
Yeah, we tend to
Oh.
we tend to use the snappy here. I mean, it's humid and hot, or it's like wet and cold.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Not very dry here anymore.
And I do short
Yeah.
draw, but I like the BSB for the short draw. I like how intuitive it is, and I can just really, feel.
Yeah, I've tried BSB.
Yeah, this is 0.45
Yeah.
to round out my setup. I shoot 8 mil steel, or if you want to do American measure units of measure, well, we'll just stick with metric. Up with the metric system.
I wish there were more people who like cut flat bands because like I don't have time. I shoot too much to like cut my bands. Like I will constantly like between chores or whatever shoot, and like it's kind of a chore just tying the bands on the frame, much less making
get-
them and like cutting them.
But
Like
if you got into the sport a few months ago.
Yeah.
When you go over the winter, though, I've found that I like to do stuff like it gives me something to do in the winter on the days when I can't get outside. You know, I can still do something that's hobby related, slingshot related, and go
Yeah,
out
that's a good idea
and make
actually.
a bunch of bands on a rainy day or a cold
Right
day.
on.
and you
Yeah, I like
freeze
the zen of it.
Freeze them. Is somebody say freeze? them?
Yes,
Freeze that
Yeah,
latex.
cut them all during the winter and freeze them so you can take them out in the summer. Yeah.
Did anybody else
Okay.
want to show off the frames? I'm liking this.
What's that?
I had Centurion Prime Fords.
Prime Fork. Oh, that's nice. Hold it up.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Hold it up.
Closer.
This
There
is
we go.
There we go.
Is this good?
Oh, that's pretty.
Nice. Yeah.
And then mine's mega white and point 4, and I do a 2012.
Oh,
And,
Omega white. Okay, I didn't hear. I heard you say white. I didn't hear the Omega in front of it. Okay. 20 to 12.
2012.
Ew.
All right.
didn't
Yes,
hear
Lisa,
you.
what you got?
Oh, I have. So this is my go-to. So this is just a Amazon buy. My first about $12-17, but it's 316 stainless steel, has really good weight.
Wow.
It's really polished nice. Now I have a Wendigo carbon fiber, beautiful I could have brought, but
That's nice.
I just like this with
Yeah.
loaded clips.
It looks. It kind of reminds me of one of the precise.
Well, also to get them in sport, I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you can have your own. And I don't care if whoever comes over and grabs this or kid or whatever. Not a big, yeah. But
And what's your bands?
this is Mega White. I'm doing just like 5-inch because I do short draw. And I did tie. This was one of my first ties I did. It's lasted. I was scared because I really thought wasn't going to, get many shots. But it's done well.
Okay.
Nice. And I think we get better. It is, I mean, there's a learning curve with tying bands, and wrapping. I will say that I got this one, but I just can't with this anymore. I need the little, I can't do the, huh?
Do you have
I
a
just
do you
bought
have a
one of those. Oh, sorry.
do you have a Mr. Riley jig?
from the ones that Omega they sold. It's
no,
cool.
no, a Dick Riley jig. Do you have one of those?
Moan over at Moan's we have the ones that have the little yeah.
Okay.
So this is fine, but I mean, I do a lot of shooting. I can wrap them up. These bands are old, but
What is that? A Dick Riley jig? Is that one of the ones with the alligator clamps?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Mr. Dick Riley. He put some in a Ozark Trails box that he also, I don't know all the terminology for carpentry, but he makes so that you can have everything contained in this little box, but then he has a little board screwed underneath. And so then he has the threaded things inserted into the board so you can screw on the little posts.
Okay.
You take them out of the box, screw them onto the post, and then put the alligator clamps on. And it's just the best jig. Like everybody else's, Danny and I see them, and we're like, oh, that's nice. It's not a Dick Riley jig.
How do we
For
get the Dick
them.
Riley jig? How do we get one?
Well, I don't think he makes them anymore, but I think he gave Will kind of the go ahead to start producing them. So I think Will might be getting into that, but I don't know for sure. He kind of mentioned it.
Will Bartlett?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah, Sandy. Sandy,
Nice.
the sandbagger.
I mean, I think that Graydon has earned that title now. So it's
I'm not
from
so
father
sure
from father to son.
I'm not so sure that Graydon didn't intentionally throw his score in the amateur division to not be the first place there. I'm not so sure that didn't happen.
Second place.
I was already like mapping out in my head like father son mugs with glittery sand on them. It would be beautiful.
I think you still can do that and maybe should.
But yeah, no, they're great. But no, that's
Okay.
Dick Riley.
Who else needs to show their slingshot?
I'm gonna show mine.
Okay, do it.
My one, the one that I shoot. This is like this is gonna date me a little bit, but the Man from Snowy River kind of a thing. Like he gets
my favorite movie ever.
Yeah,
that is my favorite. I grew up watching that.
Yeah, well, the Return to Snowy River, like he has the thing where he has to chase him down, and so he's like, "Come on, Den, I need you for this." And so he gets his old faithful horse, and that's what I feel like when I reach for the Scout. I'm gonna call it what Nathan should name it. This is my plug. It's the Scout OG. I don't know why he named it the XT. It's the Scout OG. It's the original Scout. It's the Gangsta Scout. Yeah. And so that's kind of the one that I go to. It's the toxic green, which is my favorite color. It looks kind of pink in the lighting.
That is OG. They don't make those anymore.
Yeah. So so that's like one of my favorite that I go to when I just can't, I'm in a funk. But at the same time, my favorite for shooting right now is my Mike Sturm that he sent to Danny as like a thank you for sending him a bunch of raw forks. It's spalted birch with, I forget the liners, and then it's got moose antler on it.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
So the Mike Sturm, it's 100 millimeter. But the way the chalice shape is, it just fits a wide variety of hand shapes, and I find it super comfortable. So that's one of my favorites too. And then I'm gonna show off because I can, and this will also date me, is my Silva. So I have a Lee Silva that my friend, he's Gray Wolf on the forums, but Todd Ransom gave me, and that's like just one of my favorites. So yeah, I've got a lot of favorites. Most of my favorites, like I've got like 3 more here, but I'm not going to take up everybody's time. But yeah, so the Scout OG and the Mike Sturm are the ones that I shoot the most often right now. So
yeah, I'm a Scout person too. I have the Scout, Scout X, the G10. Nice. Yeah, I love that. But I mean, I love this design, and I shoot TTF. That's all I ever shoot. And then, Moan did a replica of the Scout because I'm so in love with the Scout. I won't change. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I don't change much.
Dorothy.
Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz.
And Uncle Larry sent Moan all these, like, minute, a whole paper with all these numbers. And when Moan and I were first starting dating, he was building this slingshot and bitching about Larry. That's my language. Can I say that on here?
But yeah,
beautiful.
And
I'm so sorry. I have
to.
I have to go. So
Okay.
Thank you
Did
for
Crystal show her Liberty Sling though? Before we, I think
No.
I know we're way
So,
late. But show
I
me.
left. I've left my house, so I've been
Oh.
traveling while I've been, so I didn't bring any of them with me. But I haven't been shooting that one since that one's not set up. I have a custom one that I shoot over the forks with, and then I've had my Scout LT that I just started about a month and a half ago shooting through the forks with my Scout, and I really like using the Scout for shooting through the forks. But just trying to do both and kind of see what I like the best when I do shoot different frames.
fun.
Awesome. Dana, before you leave, I know like some folks wanted to talk about competitions and women's divisions versus men's divisions. And Dana, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that before you head out, because I want to squeeze this
Do
thought
we have
in.
time for this?
I will do it fast and then I will mic drop. I will mic drop with this ducky. I think women's divisions are unnecessary. I think that we have a pretty good pattern with tournaments that have amateur and pro divisions. And I see no reason to separate people out from gender because, as we have discussed, it's really a marksman thing and not a thing that is affected by your gender or your age or your weight or your height or whatever. And all of those things have advantages and disadvantages. It's a little more nuanced than just nobody has any differences, but the differences aren't so clearly divided as, men can do this and women can do that. Mm-hmm. And so, I think pro and amateur allows us to self-select. I think that's what you should let people do. Just let people self-select. And sometimes people, more often than not, I think people actually underestimate their own skill level. And so there's a lot of people in the novice division that are actually really quite good. But
Right.
it's just the best way to handle it, in my opinion. And on that note, I'm going to drop the mic.
Hi, Dana.
And look forward to watching this video later on. Carry on without me. Don't miss me too much. I love all of you guys, and I'm so glad that we found this group. And also one more thing before I go. If there are women watching this and they want to get added, reach out to one of us. I'm really not on Facebook all that much, but you can find me on Facebook and maybe I'll check.
You can find me.
You can find Lori for sure.
I got everybody in there.
Yeah. Even if you don't shoot, if you just want to hang out with us and then slowly be talked into shooting, which we will do, please join us. All right. See you guys later.
Thank you, Dana.
Thanks,
Thank you for joining.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Well, yeah, Bridget put that in because we were so busy. We were a little behind, but that is a question that we get a lot. That's like the $1 million question. Along with how do we get women into shooting is the first. And then the second one is, this idea of how should the divisions and what does that feel? And I will say that when I go and I get to just shoot and I get to choose where I want to be, I just feel like a human being shooting a slingshot. And then I don't feel like, I also really thrive on the competition, even if up on, when I'm up on stage, I often, that is something I'm working on, is staying within my inner consciousness so that I can see that target and hit it like I always do. But I like to be pushed. And when it's all of my peers that's shooting with me rather than the people that I'm competing are already decided based on who's attending and who's in the same, gender as me, that cuts me out of a lot of that competition. So that when I've at first had the experience of going to one was like, but wait a minute, all of you, I'm shooting with all of you, I want to be also challenged in that way. And so it definitely feels more welcoming in a situation like that when it's just pro and amateur. Mm-hmm. By and large, it feels like that's what most women that I've talked to feel also. So
do you think that seems to be an overwhelming feeling amongst people?
Yeah, I feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it goes back to marksmanship, whether you're male or female, old, young, you can stand up, sit down, you can shoot at the same level. And I just don't think it's necessary to separate women and men.
Well, I guess I have a question because I wasn't at East Coast this year. I intended to be there and we came home from a trip and I had the worst head cold I've had in 5 years. and so I didn't make it. I know things were a little different at East Coast this year. I know that the pro and amateur was enacted or whatever implemented at this tournament. Were there men and women divisions? Because I wasn't aware.
Oh no, and
there weren't?
ECST.
Okay.
I think. I mean, when I was there last, it was always been more pro and amateur. Hocking
Okay.
Hills is.
Well, I thought
Yeah.
maybe they
It
had
was
started
pro,
this and I didn't know.
amateur, children. Yeah.
So
ECST, their first year of doing pro and amateur was last year, I believe.
okay,
Yeah.
and I knew that was kind of a new development. So, is this something the division amongst genders? Is that something that's on the horizon that people are talking about in tournaments?
Well, there's some tournaments are that way.
Are they?
ACC, you know,
Okay.
SCST was. I know that's not there anymore. And then isn't there one in further down south?
North
with
Carolina. The way SCST and North Carolina worked was they didn't actually have a separation of men and women. The way they worked was they had an overall, and then they also had kind of a special recognition awards for women. Like the
Okay.
women were still competing against the men as well. Like, but Dan Ambrosius for SEST, he wanted to like he's very competitive driven. And so he like for him, it's like if he's not competing for a trophy, it like kind of frustrates him. And so he wanted to make sure that like the women got recognition because he wanted to encourage them to shoot. He just wanted to recognize, hey, you're shooting and we're so happy you're here.
Sure.
And so he added an extra layer of awards for awarding top 3 women in his, but the women were also competing in the overall.
But
So that's how Dan did it. And I think that's how it was at South Carolina Savannah River Shootout. Like I didn't get top in any of those. And so, but I don't think he would have separated the women out from the men. He just also gave the women awards
in addition to it, just to acknowledge that they appreciated. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
so ECST was the first year that Becky and I attended. Then was the first year it was pro and amateur. And how did it work before?
Before everybody was just pro. You were pro or
Right.
you were shoot for fun.
Yeah. Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah. But they decided to, the amateur does, the nice thing about the amateur division is it does give the beginner coming in, they don't feel like, man, I'm shooting against Nathan Masters. What's the point?
Right.
Kind of.
Or might win. I mean, what in the world? Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, last year though, it was funny because Nathan was one that kind of set up the precedent for the Sandbagger Award. He's like, you can put yourself in whichever category you want to. Nathan had said this to kind of everybody overall. He's like, however, if you sandbag in the amateur, we will take you to the grave with that. And we currently have plans to put that on Will Bartlett's gravestone. So, it's there. But no.
Okay.
And so, yeah, we hazed him pretty bad. And if he's going to watch this, he will roll his eyes and be like, will I ever live this down? And the answer is no. You won't.
I'll be sure to send him a link on Facebook just in case he doesn't do it.
Well,
okay. So you guys talked about the pro and am. And so initially when I heard about that, I'll admit, I thought, well, do we need classes like that? And somebody explained it to me, just like one of you did. I forget who just said it, but like if you're going up against Nathan Masters or any of the top shooters, you want to feel like you're still competing. And so when it was put in that perspective, I do see the benefit of that, and I do agree with that now. But as far as the classes on genders, I think that I don't see the point in it. I think that everybody has an equal opportunity in slingshots. It's not a sport that requires extreme strength or anything or size. And so I think
money.
right. I think everybody's on an equal playing field. And so
you just have to practice.
Practice.
I think it brings everybody together to have both two to make a difference and separate, because going into everything, I've equally and I've got everybody I've gotten to shoot with. I think that to separate that would be a misstep. I think it helps grow because I've met equally everybody's been great, and to separate that, I don't think that would be a good idea. And it's fun, and everybody has a good time.
Yep, I agree. So yeah, I don't see the need for it really, because I think that I think any disparities is going to be, but based on size, would be addressed between with fork difference. I mean, your fork difference is going to, it could make a difference in if somebody's smaller in stature. I mean, you can still find the fork width that works right for you. It's not a matter of you can't.
Yeah, but and to that point, like Lori's a little thing, but she shoots a 95 and 100. I'm a larger, tall, big boned woman, and I shoot an 85. Like,
Yeah.
you
And
know,
I think that's just because everybody's hands and your joints and stuff are made a little bit different. You have to find out what works for you.
Yeah.
Well, and if you want more power, we can all learn how to go for that butterfly, right? Like, I mean, there is all this really cool nuances if you have time to, like, you have time to practice, to train, you're going to see the results. I mean, we saw our winner at ECST. I mean, he's about practice nonstop, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's a neat story.
and, learning those different, because switching to long draw, I mean, I don't know. We'll see about that, because I'm always like, make sure it like touches lightly. But there are all these ways that you can counteract whether you feel like you need more, upper body strength, or your short draw with the light bands is not getting you all the way to a 25-meter target.
Yeah,
going back down that rabbit hole. So
yeah, I think it's great that you guys are together as a group with the goal of bringing more women into the sport. I love that. But yeah, it's just such a diversified group that, as Dana mentioned earlier, it's not just a bunch of grizzly camo guys. It's all of us. And I grew up. My grandfather was a pastor, and so I grew up going to church 3 nights a week and on Sundays.
wow.
And I was submerged in that church community, and I don't really hold those religious beliefs anymore, but I found that the whole Slingshot community kind of fills that void for me that I had as a kid growing up with an extended church family. And that's kind of what this whole community has become to me. And so I'm grateful that it's balanced and well represented.
yeah.
Well, sorry. I love that you bring that up. For me, somebody was talking earlier about getting more women competing. For me, it's just about me, my sling, my target. I'm on my range in the woods on my property. And it's that get in the zone and get kind of one with nature and kind of get spiritually zoned out. For me, that's everything. And it really provides like a mindness and well-being component that
There's a very
I can't get
meditative
anywhere.
aspect to Slingshots. Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that, because when I go out, when I have things on my mind that are bothering me, whatever, maybe something that happened at work or whatever that day, I can go out. And if I'm really paying attention to what I'm doing, I can't think about what happened at work today. I don't have room
That's right.
in my small little brain for both of those things. So
It's like an active, it's like an active meditation.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
because it takes everything to hit that target,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's relaxing to me. I mean, it's just as soon as you get home from work, you just go out on the back stoop and just start shooting, and it changes everything. It kind of takes any stress or any worry that you may have had, and you just focus on your, like Bridget said, just focus on your target, and it just makes things so much better. It is very meditative for sure.
Well, when and it's coming up on 5 years for me here, actually on the 20th, just a few days, it'll be 5 years since I've had a sip of alcohol. And for over 20 years, I used to, oh, thank you. For 20 years, I used to, I come home from work, and sometimes I didn't even make it home before I cracked a beer open. And that was how I forgot about everything that happened. And I quit drinking a few years before I found Slingshots, but I never found something to do and something to focus that anxiety and stuff on. And so Slingshots was really that for me when I found it, because like I said, I couldn't go out and think about two things at the same time. And I really just loved that it took me away from everything. So I think there's absolutely a well-being aspect to it.
I think it pulls everybody out of a dark day. I don't care who you are. Like, you could be having a terrible day, and you know, you might not want to take that first step outside to go shoot, but if you do the first shot, the first time you hit the target, you just get this,
Dopamine.
I guess, release of dopamine, and you know, it's just
Yes.
it's addicting. You just want to like spend all your money on all the pretty little things
And all your
be able to
time.
shoot. Mm-hmm.
I remember trying to fall asleep the first summer I was into it, and I had a lot on my mind. I'd try to fall asleep thinking about my shot. I'd try to recreate my shot, and that's how I'd try to take stuff off my mind and fall asleep. So
Yes.
and somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. Nikki, I think you got a t-shirt idea there about the dark days.
Maybe.
Slingshot t-shirts takes everybody out of a dark day.
I've got so many ideas for graphic design. My mind runs crazy all the time. Like, I'm always thinking of crazy things. Like, I'm full of ideas.
You got an Etsy store?
I
Yeah,
don't. No,
start an
no,
Etsy
I
store.
don't. No, I need to probably do something, but no. I'm just a stay-at-home mom, and I practice a lot. And
Okay.
I gotta get done.
As a fellow stay-at-home mom, there is no just stay-at-home mom.
I coughed in your ear earlier. I thought I was muting. I was muting it in my headphones, but I don't think I was muting it for you guys sometimes. So I apologize if I did.
I don't think we heard it.
Okay, great. Maybe I hit the
We were
right.
talking a lot.
But I
Go
have
on YouTube and follow QB Slings.
QB things. Yes,
And
Lori, I'll
we
put the
may get
link. I'll put the link in the description to your channel.
Okay, well, thank you all, and thanks you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Andrew,
all.
thank
you.
you. Really,
Thank
that's
you.
great.
good seeing
You guys,
y'all.
if you all
And
have
everyone
anything-
that's watching, if you're a chick, reach out.
Bye.
Join us. And if you're not, reach out.
all right, you are all welcome back on anytime. Anytime you guys want to chat, I've had a good time.
Yeah, we did too.
All right,
This was
Thanks,
fun.
Andrew.
I will get this up later
Thank you.
tonight. Thank you all.
Bye, ladies.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye, y'all. Keep it real.
Bye.
Chicks straight.
See you later. Bye.